Detachment is often misunderstood. Many hear the word and imagine coldness, indifference, or a life without care. But true detachment is not the absence of love, of passion, or of connection. It is the art of being fully engaged with life while not being imprisoned by it. It is the state of acting, of loving, of striving, yet not being consumed by the outcome. Detachment is not weakness, it is strength in its purest form. It is power because it grants you freedom from the chains of expectation, fear, and dependency. When one is attached, the mind becomes restless. It clings to people, to possessions, to achievements, and even to suffering. This clinging is what generates fear, the fear of losing, the fear of failing, the fear of being left behind. In attachment, there is always a silent trembling within, because the foundation of your peace rests on something outside of yourself. But the truth is, nothing external is ever permanent. People change, circumstances shift, time moves without pause. To build your stability on what is temporary is to build a house on sand. Detachment is power because it teaches you to build your house on rock, on inner strength, on unshakable clarity, on that which is not moved by the passing winds of change. Detachment does not mean absence of desire. It does not mean you should not dream or work or hold relationships. It means you are no longer enslaved by them. You can desire, but you are not consumed by desire. You can love, but you do not lose yourself in love. You can achieve, but you do not let achievement define your worth. When you practice detachment, life becomes lighter. You participate fully, but you carry nothing as a burden. You allow everything to pass through you like wind moving through an open space. And this makes you powerful because you no longer waste energy clinging to what must eventually leave. The practice of detachment is a sharpening of awareness. You begin to notice how often the mind reaches out to control outcomes. You begin to notice the countless ways you seek validation, security, and permanence in what cannot provide it. And slowly you learn to release not in rejection, but in wisdom, to release not because you do not care, but because you understand that holding tighter does not guarantee anything. This release, this letting go, is not weakness. It is the mastery of your own mind. Detachment also transforms relationships. When you are attached, you place conditions on others. They must act in a certain way, speak in a certain way, stay close in a certain way, or else you suffer. This is not love, this is dependency. True love arises in detachment, because in detachment you allow the other to be fully themselves. You allow them to grow, to shift, to walk their path without needing to control it for your comfort. And when you can love without chains, your love becomes vast, expansive, free of fear. That love is stronger, not weaker. That love does not collapse under the weight of expectation because it is no longer rooted in clinging but in acceptance. In the realm of personal growth, detachment is also the seed of resilience. If you are attached to success, then failure will destroy you. If you are attached to comfort, then change will terrify you. If you are attached to praise, then criticism will shatter you. But when you cultivate detachment, you remain unshaken by extremes. Success comes and you use it without arrogance. Failure comes and you learn from it without despair. Praise arrives and you receive it without intoxication. Criticism arrives and you examine it without collapse. Detachment gives you the balance to walk steadily no matter how uneven the ground. The path of detachment is not a rejection of life, but a deeper embrace of it. When you are attached, your vision is narrow, you see only what you want, and you suffer when life offers something else. But in detachment, your vision expands. You can see reality as it is, not just as you wish it to be. This clarity is power because it frees you from illusion. It allows you to act in alignment with truth, not with the distortions of desire and fear. And when you live aligned with truth, your actions gain weight, precision, and depth. Detachment also gives birth to inner peace. The constant struggle of the mind, pulling toward pleasure, pushing away pain, is endless. This is the cycle of attachment. But when you detach, you step out of the cycle. You are no longer chasing after what cannot last, nor running from what cannot be avoided. You rest in a state of acceptance. And in this acceptance, the mind becomes still. Stillness is not empty, it is full of strength. From stillness arises wisdom, and from wisdom arises true power. It is important to understand that detachment is not achieved in a single moment. It is a practice cultivated daily. It begins with small acts, noticing your need for control and loosening it, noticing your fear of loss and breathing through it, noticing your dependence on outcomes and returning to the present. With each step, the grip of attachment weakens. With each step, the clarity of detachment grows stronger. Over time, you realize that what once disturbed your peace no longer holds the same weight. What once consumed your energy now passes through you without leaving scars. This is the quiet power of detachment, a power that does not announce itself with noise, but radiates from within like an unshakable flame. There are languages that exist beyond the human tongue. Languages that do not need to be translated, explained, or debated. These are the languages of energy. Before a single word leaves the lips, the energy of a person has already spoken, and it has spoken volumes. It has revealed whether the heart is heavy or light, whether the mind is scattered or calm, whether the spirit is open or closed. Words can be practiced, polished, and presented with skill, but energy cannot be faked. It is the silent messenger that announces who you are before you even begin to speak. Energy is not something distant or abstract. It is present in every interaction, in every movement, in every moment. The way one walks into a room is a statement. The way one breathes in the presence of others is a message. The way one holds eye contact or avoids it communicates more than carefully chosen phrases ever could. This is why, very often, people forget what was said to them, but they never forget how they felt in someone's presence. That feeling is the imprint of energy, and it lingers long after words have faded. When the inner state is fragmented, words lose their weight. They may sound impressive, but the vibration behind them is weak. Conversely, when inner alignment is strong, even silence can carry a power that words cannot reach. Think of someone sitting quietly, without effort, without intention to dominate or impress. Their stillness radiates presence. That is energy in its purest form, speaking louder than any speech ever could. This understanding brings responsibility. To realize that your energy communicates constantly is to understand that you are always transmitting. The tone of your thoughts, the rhythm of your emotions, the depth of your breath, all of it becomes part of your energetic language. If the inner world is chaotic, the energy projected outward will carry that chaos. If the inner world is centered, the energy projected outward will carry that stability. What you cultivate within is what others receive without. Words often create distance, but energy creates resonance. Two people may disagree in words, but still feel deeply connected through energy. On the other hand, two people may speak politely, even kindly, yet the energy exchange carries tension, mistrust, or fear. Energy reveals the truth beneath appearances. It uncovers what cannot be hidden by clever expressions. This is why the old wisdom emphasizes not only what is said, but the state from which it is spoken. To refine the energy one carries requires inner work. It requires awareness of thought patterns, emotional tendencies, and the way these influence the atmosphere one creates around oneself. A person who carries resentment will transmit heaviness. A person who carries gratitude will transmit warmth. No matter how much the surface is decorated with beautiful words, the energy beneath them always seeps through. It cannot be contained by masks. It cannot be disguised by eloquence. The cultivation of inner energy is not achieved through force, but through alignment. It is the art of harmonizing body, breath, and mind so that each supports the other. When the breath is steady, the mind is calmer. When the body is relaxed, the emotions soften. When the mind is clear, the energy flows unobstructed. This flowing energy becomes the invisible language that shapes interactions, inspires trust, and creates an atmosphere of authenticity. Many conflicts arise not because of words themselves, but because of the energy behind them. A simple instruction, when delivered with patience, feels supportive. The same instruction, when delivered with irritation, feels like criticism. It is not the sentence that changed, but the energy carrying it. This is why the effort to refine speech should never ignore the refinement of energy. Without harmony within, even the most skillful speech can wound. With harmony within, even simple words can heal. There is a power in recognizing that you cannot hide your energy. It is constantly broadcasted, even when silence is chosen. Some people try to control their image through rehearsed expressions, polite smiles, or practiced tones, but the deeper current of energy flows beyond the surface. Others can feel it, even if they cannot describe it. Energy bypasses logic and speaks directly to intuition. This is why sometimes you sense trust or danger without explanation, why you feel peace around one person and restlessness around another. Energy speaks louder than words because it is not bound by language. It does not require translation between cultures. It does not get lost in accents or dialects. It does not falter when words are misused. It moves directly from one being to another, carrying an authenticity that words can only attempt to imitate. Energy is the root and words are the branches. When the root is strong, the branches naturally flourish. When the root is weak, the branches wither no matter how much they are decorated. To live with this awareness is to begin to shift the focus inward. Instead of only preparing what to say, one begins to prepare how to be. Instead of rehearsing lines, one begins to cultivate alignment. The question changes from, what should I say? To, what energy am I bringing? This is a deeper form of communication, one that resonates beyond the surface level of conversation and touches the essence of another person. Energy speaks when words are absent. It speaks when eyes meet across silence, when a gesture is made without explanation, when presence itself becomes a form of expression. In these moments, one begins to realize that energy is not only louder than words, it is also more enduring. Words may be forgotten, but energy is remembered. It leaves its imprint in the heart, shaping perceptions and guiding connections long after the conversation has ended. There is an unseen force that shapes the way others respond to us, the way opportunities find us, and the way life seems to align in our favor. This force is not something external, nor is it dependent on wealth, appearance, or status. It comes from the inside, from the way we carry ourselves, from the boundaries we set, and from the energy we project. This is the power of self-respect, and when it is cultivated, it creates a natural magnetism that draws in what resonates and repels what does not. To understand this deeply, one must begin by looking at what self-respect truly means. It is not arrogance, not superiority, and not pride disguised as confidence. Self-respect is the quiet acknowledgement of your own worth. It is knowing that your time, your energy, and your presence have value. It is refusing to compromise your inner truth for temporary approval or external validation. When a person honors their own worth, they stop chasing validation from others. Instead, they stand firmly in who they are, and that steadiness radiates outward in a way that others cannot help but notice. This magnetism is not about forcing attention, but about drawing it naturally. Just as the earth pulls everything toward its center through gravity, self-respect pulls toward you people, experiences, and circumstances that match the vibration of your worth. Those who live without self-respect often feel as though they are constantly chasing, always running after recognition, always begging for a place to belong. But the more they chase, the more it slips away. When self-respect is present, the dynamic reverses. No longer do you chase, instead, life begins to gravitate toward you. Self-respect begins with boundaries. Without boundaries, energy leaks away. People overstep, situations drain, and resentment grows. But when you respect yourself enough to say no, to withdraw when needed, and to refuse what does not serve your growth, you communicate to the world that your life is not open ground for exploitation. This communication does not need words. It is a silent declaration that becomes visible in your posture, in your decisions, and in your silence. People sense it even if they cannot explain it. Magnetism comes not from needing others, but from being whole within yourself. When you respect yourself, you stop depending on others to define your worth. This independence is deeply attractive because it shows that your energy is not bound by desperation. People are naturally drawn to those who do not beg for attention but instead radiate calm assurance. This calmness, born from self-respect, is like a fire that does not need fuel from outside. It burns steadily from within. Many confuse magnetism with charm or appearance, but charm without self-respect is empty. Appearance without self-respect fades quickly. What endures, what continues to pull others toward you, is the unshakable foundation of how you hold yourself. A person who respects themselves walks differently, speaks differently, and even breathes differently. Their presence is grounding, and it feels safe to be around them because their energy is not scattered by insecurity. Respecting yourself also means honoring your word to yourself. Too often, people break promises to themselves while keeping every promise to others. They wake up for others, sacrifice for others, compromise for others, but when it comes to their own commitments, waking up early, pursuing growth, protecting their peace, they neglect themselves. Self-respect grows when you begin to treat your own commitments as sacred. If you say you will do something for yourself, do it. Every time you follow through, your self-respect deepens, and your energy becomes clearer, sharper, and stronger. Magnetism does not only attract people, it attracts alignment. The right opportunities begin to appear, synchronicities increase, and even challenges shift into lessons that build rather than break you. Life mirrors the way you treat yourself. If you diminish yourself, life will place you in situations where you feel diminished. If you respect yourself, life will return that respect through circumstances that uplift and empower you. There is also a subtle transformation that happens in relationships. When you lack self-respect, you often tolerate behaviors that drain you. You allow words that wound, actions that dismiss, and energies that belittle. But when self-respect grows, tolerance for such things disappears. Not because you fight against them, but because you no longer resonate with them. You do not need to push them away. They naturally fall away because your energy no longer permits them to remain. The magnetism of self-respect is deeply connected with stillness. It is not loud, it does not shout for recognition, and it does not demand. It is quiet, yet unmovable. Like a mountain that does not need to announce its height, self-respect simply exists, and that existence itself commands recognition. Those who approach you feel it without needing words. They sense the strength that comes from honoring your own essence, and they respond with either alignment or distance. Both are signs of magnetism at work. The truth is, every person already has this magnetism within them. It does not need to be built from nothing. It only needs to be uncovered. It is hidden beneath layers of insecurity, beneath years of seeking approval, beneath habits of self-neglect. As those layers are removed, the natural radiance of self-respect shines through. The more you honor your inner being, the more powerful this force becomes, and the less effort you need to exert in pulling life toward you. Self-respect creates magnetism because it aligns you with your essence, and essence is magnetic by nature. When you live from your essence, you are no longer fragmented. You are no longer scattered in many directions. You become centered, and everything around you begins to revolve in harmony with that center. This is why people are drawn to those with true self-respect. They are drawn to the harmony, the balance, and the silent power that radiates from within. In a world that constantly urges us to move faster, achieve more, and chase after the next milestone, stillness is often misunderstood. Many people fear being still because it looks too much like inaction, like falling behind, like missing out. But what they fail to realize is that stillness has its own strength, its own rhythm, its own pull. Stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness contained. When someone is truly still, when they are not rushing outward but holding steady inward, they begin to emit a quiet energy that draws the world toward them. This is why stillness invites pursuit. The pursuit that is invited is not about people chasing a person because of what they do, but because of what they embody. Think of water that is calm and clear, unmoved by wind or disruption. Anyone who comes near such water wants to look into it, to see their reflection, to drink from its purity. Stillness has this same magnetic effect. It doesn't demand attention, but it receives it. It doesn't seek validation, but it inspires respect. The power of stillness lies in its refusal to compete with noise. When we learn to hold stillness, both physically and mentally, we begin to cultivate a presence that others cannot ignore. A person who is restless, always moving, always grasping, gives off a vibration of need. That need pushes things away rather than bringing them closer. But the person who is grounded, who holds stillness within, radiates a vibration of sufficiency. This sufficiency, this state of not chasing, is what paradoxically draws the pursuit of others, of opportunities, of respect. Stillness also has a way of sharpening perception. When you are quiet, you begin to notice things that others overlook. You start to sense the subtle shifts in people's tone, the unspoken energy in a room, the slight change in the direction of events. Stillness makes you receptive, and receptivity is a form of power. It is the ability to tune into what is hidden beneath the surface, to catch the signals that those who are distracted miss. From this deeper awareness, one makes decisions with clarity and moves with precision. The pursuit that stillness invites is not always external. It is also the pursuit of deeper truths within oneself. When the mind stops racing, when the heart stops clinging, when the body finds ease, the inner layers begin to reveal themselves. Thoughts that were buried rise to the surface. Emotions that were suppressed show their shape. Insights that were waiting in silence come forth. Stillness opens the door for inner pursuit. The kind of pursuit that transforms confusion into understanding and uncertainty into direction. Imagine a tree in a quiet forest. It does not move, it does not chase the sun, yet it always receives light. It does not chase the rain, yet it absorbs the nourishment of water when it arrives. The tree's stillness allows everything it needs to come in due time. In the same way, when we embody stillness, the things meant for us begin to find us. The right people, the right opportunities, the right lessons are drawn to our energy because stillness resonates with alignment. It tells the universe, I am here and I am ready. And readiness does not require running toward what is desired. It requires standing firm so that what is meant to come has a place to arrive. This is why those who practice stillness often find that others seek them out. People are drawn to the grounded one in the room, the one who listens more than they speak, the one whose calmness offers refuge from the storm of daily life. Without trying, without striving, stillness creates gravity. Gravity does not chase planets, but planets move in response to its pull. The stillness of gravity keeps everything in balance, and the same principle applies to human presence. But stillness is not passivity. It is not the absence of action, but the preparation of it. When one is still, the action that eventually follows carries more weight. Words spoken from stillness carry authority. Movements made from stillness carry precision. Choices born from stillness carry clarity. The reason is simple: stillness clears away the scattered impulses that dilute strength. What is left is concentrated energy, pure focus, and undistracted will. This is the paradox: the more still you become, the more movement you inspire around you. People chase after noise because they are distracted, but they pursue stillness because they long for what it represents: stability, clarity, peace. Stillness exposes the instability of those who lack it, and that exposure awakens their desire to come closer, to learn, to be in its presence. Stillness also teaches patience, and patience is deeply magnetic. When you are patient, you are not anxious to grab what passes by. You allow space, and that space makes others step forward willingly. The world senses when someone is not desperate, and it responds with curiosity. This curiosity is another form of pursuit, a natural attraction to what cannot be easily shaken. In stillness, you become untouchable by chaos. You stop reacting to every disturbance. You no longer chase what is running away. You let go of proving yourself. And in that surrender, the world begins to turn toward you. The noise comes knocking because it wonders what secret lives inside your quiet. Pursuit is not forced. It is invited through the silent strength of being anchored, centered, and unshaken.